I don't want this. You can kill me. I don't want that. And so that's it. And so you find yourself in this kind of a position and doing these particular things. No, man. So do that. I never had stuffed bunny cake, but you still want to be able to break your bread and have a good breakfast meeting, and all those particular things, or a good lunch down there at. I can tell you right now, many a business deal has been cut by my good friend Ephraim Jones. Can I say this to you? How do I know? I'm telling you, many a good, decent business deal has been cut over some stew fish and grits and a little orange juice or your little cranberry juice that you like, or whatever the case may be. He even, if you want to, he got a little rattler down there. Okay? Okay. You fix it? Yeah, somebody just texted, said, okay, how you did fix it. All right, excellent, guys. Let's talk. What's going on? What's on your mind? Tell me what's going on in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit. Do you see exactly what's going on in the country? I feel horrible about, and I'm not going to stop, not because I feel horrible, I got to stop. That's not what I'm saying. I feel horrible about being able to, feeling like the necessity for being able to take the Free National Movement to work the way that I am. All right, I feel horrible that we're in this kind of a position that we still have to scold an organization that's 50 years old and be able to say to them that you're off course, that you're off track extremely. I feel horrible about that. I feel as though they don't necessarily understand where we are and where we're going, right? Some information came out, says, Howard, let's talk about the shadow ministers for the Free National Movement. Information came out yesterday, well after a month of the established position of ruleship and governance by the Progressive Liberal Parties. The Progressive Liberal Parties Choose Progress campaign. And now the Free National Movement has put a couple persons out there. Let's talk about it. Let me see if I can be able to find that before I go ahead and talk about these things. Let me see who's the shadow minister for what, and we could be able to identify that. Let me see that now. Here we go. It should have been in the papers yesterday. Well, I know I saw it last evening across social media. Now I just got to see exactly where I saw that. They put some pictures out there, and we got to be able to identify that and see exactly what's what. But this has been well after the time, man. Yeah, Belinda was also out. I got to be able to touch Belinda stuff just a little bit and being able to say that, okay, here we go. Opposition leader Michael Pintard has announced his shadow cabinet, which will be responsible for scrutinizing each of the government's ministries. Shadow cabinet. The leader, opposition leader, shadow cabinet. Shadow Minister of Education, Shannon Cartwright. Minister of Education, Shannon Cartwright. Andre, spokesperson for the House of Assembly. Andre Rollins, spokesperson for the House of Assembly. The Honorable Dr. Trevor Johnson, spokesperson for the Senate. He's the spokesperson for the Senate. Minister for Finance, the Shadow Minister for Finance is J. Kwesi Thompson. Shadow Minister for Finance in those particular areas. Cynthia Komalafe, spokesperson for the Senate. She's also, I suppose, the Shadow Minister for Finance. This is confusing, gentlemen. I just want to be very clear about this. So I suppose that you're just giving us the dual nature of what these particular things are and saying to us that this person is one area and the other person from the Senate, this is what they're going to be doing. So Shadow Minister for Legal Affairs, Michaela Barnett Ellis, and she's going to be in the House of Assembly. Shadow Minister for Legal Affairs, Michaela Barnett Ellis in the House of Assembly. The Honorable Ellsworth Johnson is going to be the spokesperson, I suppose, under the banner of Legal Affairs in the Senate. Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, Andre Rollins. Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, Andre Rollins. And the Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Rick Fox. He's going to be in the Senate, being able to take on that kind of position. I feel like y'all should change this picture of Rick Fox. This man is too debonair and suave to be having this big shirt on. Yeah, this shirt too big for him. I must say, when you can see a neck like that, the shirt too big. That's how you just have to make a determination for your shirt. Anyway, but change this shirt for Jesus' sake. Take this picture of this man. This man is a global figure. You all got this man shirt too big for him. You all effing them need to stop, man. This good, decent man, even though he's put him to work, this man is a global man. Put on a decent shirt. You all take the man picture like that, and he ain't even pull the thing back to make it. Anyway. And he look younger. Yeah, he shaved his face. Praise God. So, Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs in the House of Assembly is going to be Andre Rollins, and in the Senate is going to be Rick Fox. Shadow Minister for Tourism, Rick Fox. Shadow Minister for Tourism, Rick Fox. Now, straight across the board. And Michael will be responsible in the House of Assembly for being able to take on that position in the House of Assembly to talk about tourism. Shadow Minister for Health. Shadow Minister for Health is going to be Dwayne Sands. He's also the party chairman, so you won't hear anything from him in the Senate or in the House. He will be outside the House of Assembly, standing by the door, telling you about health care and health and wellness. So look out for that. The shadow and also spokesperson in the House of Assembly will be Andre Rollins. Andre Rollins, and in the Senate it'll be Trevor Johnson. Trevor Johnson. Shadow Minister for the Energy and Utilities and Aviation, Andre Rollins. Shadow Minister for Energy, Utility and Aviation, Andre Rollins, who's in the House, and then Arinthia Komalafe would be the Shadow Minister and speaking and spokesperson, being able to speak to energy, utilities, and aviation in the Senate. So you can be able to see that. Shadow Minister for Housing and Land Reform. This is going to be interesting. Shadow Minister for Housing and Land Reform, Adrian White. Shadow Minister for Housing and Land Reform, Adrian White, in the House of Assembly. And in the Senate, the spokesperson for Housing and Land Reform will be Ellsworth Johnson. That's going to be interesting. Shadow Minister for Works and Family Island Affairs, Adrian White. Shadow Minister for Works and Family Island Affairs, Adrian White, in the House of Assembly. And in the Senate, the spokesperson is going to be Trevor Johnson, Dr. Trevor Johnson. You can be able to see him. Shadow Minister for Innovation and National Development, Kwesi Thompson. Shadow Minister for Innovation and National Development, Kwesi Thompson. And in the Senate, the spokesperson for that will be Ulrich Rick Fox. Shadow Minister for Social Services, Arinthia Komalafe. Arinthia Komalafe in the Senate, she is the number one person to be able to identify that. But in the House, the spokespersons will be Michaela Barnett Ellis. Michaela Barnett Ellis. In this particular capacity, you can be able to see her. Shadow Minister for Culture, Arts, and Heritage, Safet Rowe. Shadow Minister for Culture, Arts, and Heritage, Safet Rowe. He's the party's Secretary General. Just ran in Tall Pines, and he lost to Dr. Darvel. Right? Lincoln Deal will be the spokesperson in the House of Assembly to be able to speak to culture, arts, and heritage. Culture, arts, and heritage. And in the Senate, you'll be able to see Ulrich Rick Fox being able to speak to those particular matters. Ulrich Rick Fox being able to speak in those areas. Shadow Minister for Urban Renewal, Lincoln Deal. He's the Shadow Minister for Urban Renewal. And Fraser Gibson is going to be speaking to that. Is the spokesperson. This is peculiar. I don't know why y'all said it like this. I felt the rhythm of what you was doing before. But I don't understand what you're doing now. Both Fraser and Lincoln are in the House of Assembly, so I can't fight you. But anyway, Shadow Minister for Urban Renewal, Lincoln Deal, Member of Parliament. Fraser Gibson is going to be the spokesperson in the House of Assembly for Urban Renewal, where Lincoln Deal is also in the House. I don't understand what you did just now. But anyway, let's just keep going. Shadow Minister for Transport, Fraser Gibson. Shadow Minister for Transport, Fraser Gibson. Spokesperson in the Senate will be Ellsworth Johnson. Okay? Shadow Minister for National Security, Ellsworth Johnson. Spokesperson, He's going to be the shadow minister from the Senate standpoint, but the spokesperson in the House of Assembly will be J. Leo Ferguson. J. Leo Ferguson. Shadow Minister for the Environment and Natural Resources, Dr. Trevor Johnson. Dr. Trevor Johnson in the Senate, and Lincoln Deal will be the Speaker in the House of Assembly. Shadow Minister for Labor, Public Service, and National Insurance will be Michaela Barnett Ellis. Michaela Barnett Ellis. And the Member of Parliament, who's the Member of Parliament for Kalani, and the spokesperson in the Senate will be Arinthia Komalafe. Arinthia Komalafe. Shadow Minister for Agriculture, Marine Resources, J. Leo Ferguson, who is a Member of Parliament, and the spokesperson out of the Senate will be Ellsworth Johnson. Shadow Minister for Youth and Sports, Lincoln Deal. Out of the Senate, the spokesperson will be Ulrich Rick Fox. Shadow Minister for Grand Bahama, Frazette Gibson. And out of the Senate, spokesperson is going to be Trevor Johnson. So this is where we are right now. You know, I had something set up here. I don't know whether or not you could be able to see it anymore. Yeah, somebody texted. Yeah. Let's do this. I signed up with something, right? Tell me if you could see this on the screen, because I wanted to do this. Tell me if you could see this on the screen before I do that. All right, so we made modifications to some stuff. We moved some stuff from one space to another, and just trying to be able to make sure that we can still give you that good effect of what we're doing. You remember I was just throwing stuff on the screen. Hold on. You remember I was throwing stuff on the screen the other day, so let's see if we can be able to do that again. And you could get a feel for what we're doing in these areas. Let's get it done so you could be able to see that and identify those things. Man, it was Saturday. The young girl was, she was lost, and they couldn't find her. They put out an APB, and come to find out she was one of the persons who died. Man, this must be crushing for the family. I got to say that. It must be a crushing time for the family who's dealing with this loss, these significant loss. And last night, Bishop Hanson indicated that he found out somebody else passed away. But I don't think that was accurate. We spoke about it a little after. We didn't find out, because I think he was kind of getting the young lady who was found. He thought that she would have been an additional death, right? But it wasn't so. Okay, so that's one of the issues there. Let's see if we can be able to get this thing done here. Let me try this. Here we go. Let me try this here. Let's try it here. Let's see what we got. Tell me if you see anything pop up. Nothing? Tell me if you see anything pop up. There should be like an addition that we should be able to do to this thing so we can be able to see it. Right? I can give him my phone so we can fix this. But it should be able to do that. We should be able to see these things. So let's check it out. You don't see it? You see it? See if you can try to fix it and pop it up here. Yeah, it should be able to pop up on this screen. So you can see it on the screen? Oh, you see it on the live. I want to see it here too. Okay, hold on, let's see. All right, so these are the shadow ministers, ladies and gentlemen. Shadow minister, if you're looking at the screen, you should be able to see it. That's the shadow minister there. This is another one. Shannon, praise God, Shannon get a play. Right? Shannon get one play for education. Everyone get double and triple play. And Shannon get one play for education. Right? Dwayne Sands got one play for health also. That we could be able to see these things. Guys, is this the sort of the winding up of political careers that we're seeing? Is this the winding up of those particular things? Yeah. Let's just talk about that. Can you see these things here? You see it on the screen? This is a winding up of these stuff, man. This is crazy. So we continue to be able to talk about these things and identify it the way that it is. Let's look at it. Like I said, I don't know what this is. Let's look at it. You see that? We got to be able to fix these things, guys. We don't know what's happening with the Free National Movement. It seems as though they are doing everything to be able to remain relevant in their position and in their pursuit for relevance. It seems like they're dismantling some of the fabric of the organization for what they stand for and what we know them to stand for and what we know them to be all about. You want to talk about those particular things. I thought that it's an appropriate fitting for those particular persons. I can't fight you. When we look at it and we start to talk about these things, Adrian White, in his particular capacity, I would put him someplace in law. But housing and land reform is an appropriate space for him to put in. I thought Ellsworth Johnson would also be good in those particular areas. Absolutely. Being able to pair Andre Rollins with JoBeth Colby is almost that pairing that we see. And we know, or we could assume that as a result of that kind of a smart remark when he was getting sworn in, say, oh, Jesus. And he said, yeah, you can eat him. Right? The days have hot mics. The mics are live. So stop it. You know, don't pretend like, oh, well, they say it. We heard them. And he said, well, hey, you can need him. And so that pairing for the two tenacious personalities that continue to be able to push in this particular space, it could be identified as, okay, this is what it is. Right? Shadow Minister for these particular spaces, I don't expect him to be able to do nothing much. Shadow Minister for Health, Dwayne Sands, I don't expect him to be able to take on that kind of a strong position. I believe that he is doing his winding up as it relates to politics entirely and shifting back into his practice. This has been a decade or more of this sort of a push, and I think he's come to the conclusion that I don't know. I can't speak for the man. I can't tell you. If he would come and sit with me one of these times, I would love to do that. But I don't think he could sit with me now as he sits in the capacity of chairman, because people don't hear that from a chairman. They don't hear introspection. They don't want to hear this kind of reflection. They don't hear this kind of a deep thought from a chairman. But that's the conversation I want to have. I don't want to have a conversation with him that he's deflecting what I'm talking about. I'm not prepared to combat that. I'm not prepared rather to combat him for what is absolutely glaringly obvious. I'm not prepared to combat him for what is absolutely undeniably obvious for many of us, if not all. I'm not prepared. So I'd rather him to kind of wind up his affairs and settle with the idea that politics may not have been for me and step away from that. I suppose that he's going to have a conversation with those who identified him and pull him to the front. Yeah, we got to ask questions, man. We got to ask questions. Listen, Dwayne, you would have been great in 1992. I got to say that to you. You would have been a great politician in 1992. You would have been absolutely excellent as a politician in 1992. You would have been superb being able to serve with Hubert Ingraham in 1992, 1997. Times have shifted and changed. Whilst you were at the pinnacle of your career, being able to deal with ice pick stabs and with your genius and the trauma center that you would have come out of Detroit or Chicago. I think you said you were Chicago. And all that you would have done for the country in those, the formidable years, the height of your career, and being able to deal with, gunshot victims as the country became more and more violent. When we had you and had access to you at the pinnacle of your prime, being able to bring that level of expertise and professionalism with you when you came back home, it's undeniable, man. You are top notch. But whilst you was doing that, you missed your prime for politics. The nature and the approach that you take in politics right now, it doesn't pair with this time. It doesn't pair well with this time. It's like eating cheese doodle and wine. Like nobody does that. Nobody does that. Respect. You could have some nice cheese and a nice a nice platter with some salmon, smoked salmon, and so forth and so on, with a nice wine. You could pair it well, and you could find a balance there. But cheese doodle never is mixed with wine. You could drink cheese doodle and Colt 45 if that's what you want, but you can't drink cheese doodle and wine. That nobody's do that, right? And I think that the times that we're in right now, you represent the proverbial wine, and we're in a cheese doodle time. Because I didn't want to make you cheese doodle. I just want to be decent with you. I didn't want to make you cheese doodle. I'll make you wine. Yeah, because you do have je ne sais quoi. You have a savoir, kind of you're savvy. You have, you may not like me because I just put you to work. I just put you to work. I know. You may not like me and may not like how I just put you to work, but you have a caliber and of service and this particular bar of representation that exists in your DNA, in your blood. It doesn't pair well for the time and your approach. You keep seeking to try to dumb down yourself to be able to reach what you believe is these particular persons, and you haven't understand how to pair that. You haven't understand how to navigate this particular space. So you're presenting with a lack of authenticity. And people read that. You may not think they do, but they read that. You don't have what this era is looking for. 92? Oh man, everybody needed that. Everybody needed this kind of a savvy thing. Many persons got in. You see Dion Folks would have got in. Carl Bethel would have got in. All these people, they have that same elk that you have, but they got in. And they couldn't get in no more. That was it. They got in, and they keep trying to struggle to get in again and again and again. It didn't work for them because the caliber, the time required a particular type of leadership. This time requires a different type of leadership also. That's why I keep trying to tell you, I don't know whether or not Andre is going to work well if he's in the capacity of leadership. Him and Arinthia Komolafe, if they're going towards leadership, they are smart, they are articulate, they are tenacious, they are fighters. You know what I'm saying? This is who they are naturally. This duo could be able to conquer in a different time and era. They will not get the traction that they think that they will. They will not. And I'm going to be honest with you. This, in my humble opinion, as I genuflect with humility, in my humble opinion, you all need to stop letting Hubert Ingram say he believed that this could work. Stop it. Nothing Hubert Ingram did over the past 10 years except beat Minnis. That's the only thing he did over the past 10 years. That's work. He beat Minnis. He beat Minnis. He cut Minnis behind. He did that. He did, yeah, he orchestrated that. I didn't say he do all the votes. He didn't vote 600 and something times. But he orchestrated it to be able to make sure that Minnis is done. And Minnis is done. He did that. That's the only thing that would have worked for him because he focused on this. He committed to this. He called in whatever he had to do, allegedly. Because the people tell me they got a call from the red phone. I said, this is a Batman phone. Like, Jesus, right? They say they get a call. How would I get a call? I am voting for Michael Bintard. They tell me that the day of election. I don't care what y'all say. I see the fella tell me, oh, Howard, you can't say that. Howard, you can't say that. That's a lie. That's a lie. Then my telephone call. Howard Grant, this is... I just want to be decent. God, I think I should just be able to be no holds bar on my show because it's my show and my station and so forth. Decency is still the order of the day, so I still want to be decent. Hubert Ingram, the only thing that he would have won and been successful at the past 10 years is beating Hubert Alexander Minnis. He wasn't successful in identifying who could be able to run in the by-election. He wasn't successful at being able to calculate whether or not they would win the by-election. He wasn't successful at being able to convince those in leadership position not to run in the by-election. He wasn't successful in trying to be able to give us an excuse after the by-election. He wasn't successful in being able to identify the people to be in strategic constituencies during the preparation for the general election. Then the by-election come again. He wasn't successful in being able to deter Brian Brown from running in the by-election. He wasn't successful in trying to convince us after the by-election. He has not found success politically in over a decade. His political collateral has diminished significantly. Can I say this to you? His political collateral has dwindled down to the lint in your pockets. Every time I think about him and where we placed him socially, I remember the song that I was taught when I was a little boy. There's a hole in my pocket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in my pocket, dear Liza, there's a hole. Well, what shall I mend it, dear Georgie, or whatever the case may be. I remember Hubert Ingram. This hole in your pocket can't hold nothing. And he was the patriarch that entered into the political fray the idea of political collateral and how much he had. Now he has squandered that on poor choices. And one of the worst choices that he would have made, he thinks it's Hubert Minnis. I don't think it is. One of the worst choices that he would have made is being able to support Dwayne Sands. Not as a human being, not as an individual, not as an intellectual, but as a politician. And anybody who understands politics in this country understands that that's an all-encompassing concept. That's almost a holistic concept. To be a politician, you have to that's almost like a mind, body, and spirit thing. To be a politician in this country, you got to have personality, you got to have money, you got to have connection and relationship, you got to be able to make sure some things get done. You got to have a magnetic personality. People got to be drawn to you. They got to be drawn to you. They got to. I don't know why. I just drawn to this man. They got to, for some reason, and he doesn't have that. But Hubert Ingram bet the whole house on Dwayne Sands. Even so much so, diminished and squandered his political collateral again to come to the public and say, well, I got fired, and I don't see why he can't do it. And if I could do it, he could do it. And I'd like to be able to see him in this particular position. I believe that he could be prime minister. Why is he wearing Dwayne Sands' shirt in Elizabeth? And right after that, boom, Joe Bet tear him up. Tear him up. He wasn't, you couldn't put good money behind Dwayne Sands after that. Ryan Pinder beat him twice. Ryan Pinder beat him twice. Ryan Pinder. We wasn't sure if he was a Caucasian from the Mount of Caucasus. We didn't know where he was from. He had to bring his passport. He had to almost give you a blood sample to let you know he's a Bahamian. And they still vote for the man that we didn't hardly know. Beat him. Bang. Ryan Pinder beat him. Bam. And again, bam. You couldn't put good money behind him politically. You couldn't. You couldn't. And if you did, it wasn't a good choice. Sometimes it just takes you to know where you are. I did a whole study on that the other day. I did my research on that. I tried to talk to you about the Black Godfather, Avant, who is the Kingmaker. If you watch the series, I told you about it, that you should go and watch it on, I don't know if it's still there, but I'm sure you could find it somewhere. Black Godfather. It was on Netflix, and it was a superb tale of about people recognizing where they shine, knowing that they have aspirations based upon what exists from an external standpoint. I aspire to the pinnacle of this thing. Yeah, I want to be the leader. I want to be the prime minister. I want to be the president. I want to be the chairman, the CEO. I want to be, but there's someone who has a talent to identify talent and can strategically say to you, I believe that you could sit in this position, do well, I will help you. Avant was that. He was that. He was that. I think it's time for the Free National Movement to be able to have this kind of a real conversation with themselves and realize that you've given your deputy leader who lost one responsibility for being able to look over the Ministry of Education. And in my mind, you only give him that because the deputy leader for the country is the Minister of Education. You've given your chairman, party chairman, one responsibility for being able to look over Ministry of Health and Wellness. And I believe that you've only given him that because he stood in the capacity of Minister of Health in a prior administration. It's just some things that we got to do. As we look at it, as we talk about these things, we got to make sense. We got to make sense of it all as we continue to be able to move forward and make these things happen. Guys, I want to take this quick break. When we get back, we can talk about the PM mulling the MP's pay increases, and it's time to be able to talk about it is right for us to continue being paid what we are compared to what others are. All right. So let's just talk about that. We can also talk about Belinda taking on this kind of a strong position. Maybe I'll let you hear what she says. Wilson, prioritize civil servants over politicians. Let's take a quick break, guys. Going to be right back after this.
The Foundation with Howard Grant. We'll be back right after this.
The Foundation. The Foundation.
Soft yet firm. Our carpets are the best in the world. Visit Carpet World on Baloo Hill Road for the most luxurious collection of fine carpets. Call 341-8671 and visit our store, offering a wide selection in commercial and residential indoor and outdoor carpets, tiles, area mats, and much, much more. Carpet World and Flooring. Call us at 341-8671. We are at Baloo Hill Road waiting to serve you.
Sell All Electric has all your electronic needs. If you don't believe me, pass by and take a look at our vast inventory.
We are located in the Marshalls Plaza, Carmichael Road. Our store hours are 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Give us a call at 242-361-7265 or email themarshallsgroupltd8@gmail.com. Or you can visit Games and More in the Southwest Plaza, Carmichael Road. Sell all. Come on in and take a look.
Looking for electrical supplies? You can find all your electrical needs at SHSS Electrical. Located on Chesapeake Road, our store hours are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Contact us at 823-3150 or 821-3150. WhatsApp us at 827-3150. That's SHSS Electrical, helping customers find the right solutions every day.
Come to SHSS Electrical for all your electrical needs.
You are in tuned to Foundation Radio 89.5 FM. Great talk, great music, and a great staff. Reach your customers in style by advertising with us. We have a great platform and great quality reaching the island of Nassau. Call us at 242-827-0111. Foundation Radio. Advertising made easy.
Coco Plum Wellness Bahamas. Experience the extraordinary fusion of open system hydrocolonic hydrotherapy and holistic rejuvenation. We are located at the One West Plaza for your convenience. Cleanse, revitalize, nourish. Your journey to good health, energy, and vitality begins here. Whether you are managing your health or just simply seeking a boost, Coco Plum Wellness is here for you. Call 242-818-7586. Your wellness comes first.
Residence Resort in the Garden of Eden is an ideal place for weddings and honeymoons in a tropical island setting. The dining experience is unforgettable, and it is filled with a warm and gracious cultural vibe. The atmosphere and service is second to none. Enjoy our pool bar on hot days or cool evenings when you just want to relax and have a few cold drinks and appetizers. We are located at Eastwood, Fox Hill, Nassau, Bahamas. Phone 242-819-5574. That's Residence Resort in the Garden of Eden. Come stay with us.
The best talk show in the Bahamas. The Foundation with Howard Grant. Only on 89.5 FM Foundation Radio.
Bless like God, no bless like God. Bless like God, there ain't no bless like God. I stand, tell me back my clothes, them by. Trump, them must see, think I homeless, by. Need a doctor, cause I homesick, by. Thank the Lord I get home. I come in home, tell my Grammy break the joint, okay? Tell the DJ play some rain, straight. From the island, I ain't from those days. Buy my ticket and I on my way. I come in home, tell my mommy bake Johnny bread. Tell my cousin I won't call her back. Tell the DJ play some raging straight. From the island, I ain't from no state. I come in home, it ain't no place like home. It ain't no place like home. It ain't no place like home.
And we are back. Turn me up. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, right here, live and in full effect. I can't hear me. We are here live and in full effect. Being able to jam with you on this beautiful day. I'm very low. I got to be able to fix that. But we are here and always grateful to be able to be with you. There's absolutely no place like home. As we continue to be able to talk about these things, we're here, we're talking about these things. And I want you to hear just a little something. Belinda criticized the government in their particular position. I can't fight Belinda. She has a responsibility for being able to take on what she does. And that's how she needs to do it. Listen.
It's unbelievable. Actually, it's unthinkable.
Yeah.
That the government seeks to grease their pockets by increasing the salaries.
Those comments coming from the Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson after Parliament passed a bill late last night, granting members of Parliament an additional $32,000 a year in duty allowances, while senators will receive $16,000 annual in addition to their salaries. For Wilson, the issue isn't just the pay raise, it's the timing. She says while Bahamians continue to feel the pinch of high food prices, raising utility bills, and an overall increase of the cost of living, teachers are still waiting for their new industrial agreement to be finalized. Wilson, who has spent months publicly pressing the government over the stalled agreement, says educators have been continually placed on the back burner despite their continuous contributions to the country.
Educators possess doctorate degrees, master's degrees, and bachelor's degrees. And you are where you are because of a teacher. Produce your report card. Give an account of the duties you have completed satisfactorily before you table a bill for more money.
She also sends this message to the Prime Minister.
Before you even dream of increasing MPs, ministers, and senators' salaries and introducing a duty allowance, I urge you to ensure that the new industrial agreement with salary and allowances increased between the government and the Bahamas Union of Teachers is completed, signed, and registered. Thousands of teachers are waiting.
And she didn't stop there. She also joined the growing calls to rule out Politician 1.
And please, sir, find and rule out Politician number 1 so that he or she will not receive the proposed salary increase and or duty allowance as poor performance or alleged criminal activity should never be rewarded.
Now, the government's decision to boost MP and senator salaries will likely continue to face scrutiny, particularly from the public sector unions, who argue that while the elected receives more, many of the public workers that continue to keep the country running is still waiting on promises to be kept. Reporting for Our News, I'm Chinasa Out.
Yeah, that's our news, so we can be able to talk about those things, and let's just be very clear about that. We would have been able to see something also from the Minister of Education being able to do that. The Prime Minister took on a position and talked about it yesterday. The Prime Minister, Brave Davis, said that the salary allowances review for parliamentarians is long overdue and questioned if it was right for politicians in the Bahamas to be paid what they are when compared to the regional salary scales for their counterparts. Davis said that he will make a decision on the issues after the House of Assembly's summer break. A draft amendment to the Parliamentarians Salaries and Allowance Act, which has been circulated to the opposition for consultation, would grant members of Parliament $32,000 a year and senators $16,000 a year in allowances in addition to the salaries if pressed. They've actually seen a copy of the draft bill, and they said during an interview with the Nassau Guardian about the issue on Monday, Davis said that it was a suggestion from opposition leader Michael Pintard about providing a duty allowance to the leader of the opposition business in Parliament, which sparked the idea to increase allowances to parliamentarians across the board. Davis suggested that Pintard was initially interested in providing parliamentarians extra money, but has now changed his mind. The Prime Minister lamented the fact that the salaries and the allowance of the parliamentarians have remained basically unchanged since the early Pinling era. He urged the media to do its own analysis of regional pay of political references of politicians referencing the fact that the Premier of Turks and Caicos, a country smaller than the Bahamas, makes more than double the salary of the Prime Minister. This is what he said. And he's gone further to be able to talk about those things. He said that we are trying to review the parliamentary salaries and allowances. This is what he told the Nassau Guardians. We are stuck with the same salary from 1979. There was some tweaking with it over the years, but that's where we are today. Davis noted that the other parliamentarians in the region received more compensation than those in the Bahamas. MPs in Turks and Caicos are paid $97,500 a year. In Jamaica, MPs make, in Jamaican dollars, $14.17 million per year, roughly $90,100 in American currency, or our currency. I'm still thinking, he said, when asked if he was mindful to move forward with the increase, he goes on to say that, is it right for us to continue being paid what we are compared to what others are? Take Turks and Caicos. Their premier, who doesn't have the responsibilities that I would have, is earning twice as much as me. Twice and more. He's making $197,000 and I am making $86,000. What happened in this instance, the draft? What they, the opposition, saw, and again, that's Pintard. I know what you're dealing with. I was sitting here, like I said, I've been exercising my own mind over this for at least several years. I just never brought it forward. I was sitting here during the budget debate, and he sent a note to me to ask whether or not I would consider giving the leader of the opposition business an allowance. The leader of opposition business in the House of Assembly is... Is it Andre? Let's see. I think it's Andre. I think it's Andre. Let's see. Leader of opposition business in the House of Assembly, Bahamas. The leader of opposition business in the House of Assembly is Adrian White, the Free National Movement member of Parliament. The constituency is responsible for managing parliamentarian proceedings, committee assignments, and legislative strategies for the official opposition. The leader of opposition business in the House of Assembly, Adrian White. Adrian White. Leader of opposition business in the Senate is Ellsworth Johnson. Ellsworth Johnson. And Michael Pintard, who is the leader in that particular capacity. Let's read a little taste more, and then we can be able to lend our opinion on these matters. He says, I'm sitting here during a debate, and he sent a note to me to ask whether or not I would consider giving the leader in the opposition business an allowance. So I said, let me look at it. And so I went and I looked at it, and I said, it's a fine opportunity because it's not getting an allowance. He's not getting an allowance. He's the leader of the opposition, and the idea is that he should be on equal footing as a minister, and he is not. So I said, let me address all these things. All of a sudden, he was interested, and then I redrafted everything and I sent it to him. He was interested. Then all of a sudden, he's backing back. He told me that I could show you the note. Man, you have the votes you need. I said, I'm not going to do it unless I have a unanimous consent. When I'm ready to paddle on my own, I will do so. Then he sent me a note last night, Sunday night, telling me people are hurting and this and that. Is such an about turn. You could have told me that from day one. This is what the Prime Minister is saying now, you know. Michael Pintard asked for an allowance for Adrian White. Prime Minister said, let me think about it. I could just give it to Adrian White. Adrian, in his particular capacity, has the responsibility for being able to look over all these things. The FNM give all these people more responsibility. Arinthia Komalafe must he get 17 things to do now. Ellsworth Johnson got 17 things to do. They got to be on board. Rick Fox got to be on board what's happening with tourism. You got to be on board with what's happening in sports. You got to be on board what's happening with all these particular things, right? And they ain't getting no extra money. None. $12,500 a year as a senator. $12,500 a year. The initial concept and idea associated with senators is being able to have a man or a woman of social standing that can be able to lend some wisdom to certain concepts and ideas that exist in these particular spaces, right? That was the expectation of what these particular things are. Now people are going in there and leaning heavily on the subventions, the kickback, the supplemental income, to be able to take care of themselves and their families in this kind of a day and time that we're in right now. Let's just be very clear about this. Okay? Adrian need the money. Ellsworth need the money. Hell, Pintard need the money. Everybody need the money. Except politician one who may be straight. Whoever politician one is. But if you're a politician, any other number, you need the money. I don't understand this kind of a position. Anyone who opposes this from a social standpoint will push back. My girl, Belinda, has the responsibility for being able to stand up with clarity and being able to indicate that there are other pressing matters to be able to attend to. After she would have won almost 10 consecutive positions in her position and capacity as BUT president. Also, an additional capacity of being able to run over as president in the Congress Union. I think there's a collective that they do with Kingsley Ferguson and so forth and so on. So financially, she doesn't have the same woes and being able to capture the same thing There's no comparison for what she does and what other persons do. In her speech, I'm listening to her subconsciously or subtly take a jab at ministers and contrasting them to at members of parliament and ministers, and contrasting them to teachers, and indicating that teachers have PhDs, teachers have their qualifications, their experience, and they're responsible for being able to prepare the next person's, the next generation for leadership. They need to be identified. I understand that, and I accept what she's saying. I accept what she said. I'm not going to fight her for what she said. There needs to be a simultaneous approach that you're walking and chewing gum at the same time, but that doesn't diminish, that doesn't negate, that doesn't take away from the fact that members of parliament and those persons that are serving in the upper and the lower house of assembly should be considered for an increase. I stand firm on that. They should be considered for an increase. I hate to get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation that exists in this country of how we exist and how we live. I hate to do that. I hate to do it to you. I hate to say to you that there are families that need to be taken care of. And $28,000, especially if I leave my practice, my business, my position to be able to serve in these particular capacities, though I wanted to do this, it pales in comparison to the money that I'm leaving on the table. I will never forget when Ryan Pinder had become the Minister of Financial Services. Brand new ministry. You remember that? Ryan Pinder became the Minister of Financial Services. And in his capacity as Minister of Financial Services, he structured financial services, he did everything that he was supposed to do, and then he quit the cabinet. He quit the cabinet. He stepped back entirely from the cabinet. And then he really stepped back from politics entirely. Entirely. And took a job with whoever these people were in the sector of financial services and was being paid $1 million a year. And the then Prime Minister, Perry Christie, would stand up and say, well, you know, this is a great opportunity, an opportunity that comes once in a lifetime, and I would take the opportunity if I was him. What? How in the world the Prime Minister say something like that? Well, how you could say something like that? You know, it's a great opportunity, and you know, these things come once in a lifetime. You want to be able to take it. $1 million a year. A man that none of us knew whether or not he was a Bahamian or not, that had proved himself as a Bahamian, that beat Dwayne Sands twice, who we thought was enthusiastic about being able to serve, had an objective, an agenda, an idea of being able to set himself up in a major way. And he did that, and the Prime Minister supported him. Whilst people were hurting themselves to leave $350,000, $450,000, $6.5 million, whatever they were willing to leave behind to serve for an acknowledged $28,000 a year, we thought this idea of service was stupendous. See, the gift comes without repentance. And the gift does not always mean financial endowment. Your capability, your gift, your position doesn't always mean that you have money. There are a great deal of people in this country who serve, who has that attractability, who has the savoir-faire, who've been prepared and preparing to serve in this country for a very long time, but never found themselves financially capable of being able to do that. A lot of persons got in with a wave. A lot of persons retain a particular position because they're good. But the truth is, $28,000 is not sufficient for anybody to be able to do. For the level of professionalism that we require, for the level of visibility that we require, for the level of accessibility that we require, for the level of study that we require, we require these men and women to serve significantly. Times have changed. You've made modifications from when gas was at 99 cents, $1, $1.50. We've made modifications to be able to accommodate ourselves in many instances and in many positions. Food has increased, clothes has increased, everything has increased significantly around us. Even your salary, whether you believe it or not, whether you dismiss this sort of an incremental increase or not, there was an attempt to be able to ensure that persons are taken care of. It is now time to take care of the politicians. I don't understand. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I don't understand. It's now time to take care of the politicians. Hey, Julian, what's up?
Hey, the foundation, what's happening?
Absolutely wonderful, man.
The doctor gentleman showed up today?
No. He's going to be with me on my other show.
Okay, good. Oh, you're going to be on the
ZNet. On ZNet, yeah.
Okay, because I had to step out. I said, Lord, I hope I... But listen to me. If you calculate $28,000 a year, that's like $2,025.
Mm-hmm.
Something around there.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a contract to clean a park, you can make more than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the member of parliament deserve a increase in the salary.
Mm-hmm.
With me working close around members of parliament, that's the little money they getting. You know, people there have to help out that before that reach home.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Well,
mommy was a member of parliament.
no.
How many people used to come around your mommy? They need little help.
If I tell you the truth, if I tell you, turn the mic up, let me hear it. If I tell you the truth, right? Let me tell you the truth. Let's have this kind of a clear conversation. My mother, because we live in the Family Islands, was always between Nassau and Freeport. So when she would travel from Freeport, from 8 Mile Rock to Nassau on a consistent basis, I manned the office. And people in 8 Mile Rock used to call me Junior MP. Okay? Because when they couldn't find my mother, they knew they could come to me.
They could get you.
Okay. So they would come to me and tell me all whatever issues that they need, boom, boom, boom. And I would deduce it, not that I was an MP, but I would deduce it and say, okay, we can't do this, but we could do this. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, she also had access to, that was when Ingram afforded the opportunity for being able to get that $100 and something thousand that you had to be accountable for under Chivago line. But I also started to learn that the government used to give other little things that you could be able to apply for. For instance, she could get some scholarships. They gave about maybe $5,000 in capacity to be able to do that. All these things. You had to be so creative to help people in 8 Mile Rock. You have no, well, in her capacity, you had to be so, anywhere. You had to be so creative. She did not have the wherewithal. Let me tell you what she used to do. For her to travel between Nassau and Freeport, she had to pay for a ticket in advance. Okay? So the money that she was making, she was paying it right back to the system and waiting to get paid back again after she would make it, after she would already spend it. You understand?
So
Because
let me ask you a question, Howard. What position did your mom hold under the Ingram administration?
she was the assistant whip. She was the assistant whip. She was the assistant whip.
No, I'm talking about she did not know PS or no
No.
junior minister.
No, Ingram didn't. They didn't give my mother anything. Right? They treat my mother bad. I must tell you the truth. They really did. She's quite capable. She was articulate. She was insightful, and she had support.
She sounded like a brilliant woman.
And she had support, but it was whatever the politics associated with it. She didn't get what she was supposed to get. But so she was in this, and she was the assistant whip. Now the assistant whip gets a duty allowance also. Okay.
Yeah.
If you read these particular things, the assistant whip did get. It ain't nothing much, but it was a little something that she would have gotten also. Okay.
Yeah, but
The difficulty in a member of parliament who doesn't have his or her own business, his or her own practice, to be able to dive into that little $22,000 some dollars a month, to be able to pay back, to present themselves, because that's what's happening. Nobody understand this. My mother is a pretty woman, and she liked to look pretty. She's a girly girl, so she won't wear all the nice clothes, and she want to present herself in a professional manner. Now, she's always taught us to shop on a budget, but she needed to present herself in a particular manner, and it cost her money just to look decent in these particular spaces.
You know, Howard, you know who is the most dangerous politician in the political party? The one who they put in place not to win. They just rest him there. Just to say they run a candidate. And that person come with victorious. That's a dangerous politician. They're going to fail that person because, see, they're expecting that person to... Now, I'm not saying this is what happened with your mom, but I'm saying that person who they expect
No,
not to
they
come out
expected
victorious.
my mother to win. She was always in the winning category. She had always, 8 Mile Rock was always in the winning category for the Free National Movement. This was why no one understood why Hubert Ingram would have taken 8 Mile Rock off the map entirely. You understand? This was an F&M seat that he demolished to be able to save Obi Bushcombe. And that's what he did. You understand? And so when we look at that...
A lot of people like Obi, you know.
Yeah, Obi was well loved.
A lot of people like Obi.
Obi was well loved, but, you know, you can't cut off your nose to spite your face. You know what I mean? You have to be able to ensure
but
that you
see,
take
like
care
I
of what you have to
said
take care
earlier,
of.
I don't know if you catch what I said. I said some people put you in a position and hope that you get beat.
Yeah,
Hope
people,
that you lose.
they put you in a position, they hope that you fail, but when you succeed, that's what happens.
That's
Okay?
the problem.
So,
And now that is why they had to cut out 8 Mile Rock in order to cut out. Because they don't see she's winning.
and she would have been a member of parliament till Jesus Christ come if they had kept it the way that it's supposed to be, because ain't nobody could beat her. But nonetheless, what I'm saying to you is that it was an expensive venture, and $28,000 wasn't sufficient for her to be able to represent the people, for her to be able to take care, because she also got $1,500 a month for the constituency headquarters. You understand?
That's for light and water.
You got
rent.
light, water, rent, and you're supposed to be able to pay the girl out of that.
And
Because
pay somebody in there
if
who
you
work
can't pay the
5
girl
days a
out of
week,
that,
I can't wait.
if you can't pay the girl out of that, or whoever in your office out of that, and that's it, they take no consideration for anything else that is required to be able to run this office.
This morning, somebody was talking. They had me out this morning. He was talking. You had run in an election before. You had run for no real. Let me not say no real party.
Jesus,
You
look
run
at a
for
man
party.
throw a rentier party under the bus. My God.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, right? You worked along with your mommy in 8 Mile Rock when she had run.
Yeah.
$5,000 on election day. How much do you think that could take you?
What do you mean $5,000 on election day? People don't understand elections in this country. You know what is, you know, Julian, and
you have to pay for everything on election day.
Julian, you're pushing me to an
Nobody crediting
era.
you. Not many people bring
Hold
them
on.
forward. They want their money in their hand.
Hold on, you're pushing me to an era and a space in an area that I know with fluidity. I know how to talk about this. But politicians is play very stupid. You see what Michael Pintard is saying about Eric Player Gardner. Let me give you an example.
That's why I
Right?
bring this up. That's what
He
conversation me and somebody's having this morning.
they only want to stretch out the idea of perceived corruption and amplify that in the Free National in the PLP. That's all. This is the only thing that they have to hold on to right now. But I can say this: no one could take more than $10,000. You have to declare more than $10,000 if you're going to the United States of America per person. Just listen. You could go over with $9,999, and you could go over to the States, right? And you could be able to. You don't have to make a declaration about that. But if you have more than that, you have to be able to declare that. If they find on you, all these issues associated with it. So when you build in your house, and people from the Family Islands know this, when you build in your house and you want to go over to Home Depot and you want to go to these other places, you're going with a group of people, all right? Everyone get $9,900. Everybody. You understand? Let's say we want to carry $70,000 that we would have been able to get from the bank or however we was able to get it. Because things has happened. Let's just be clear. Y'all, ain't nobody want to talk about this. But let's just say I have me and my contractor working together. The contractor know I need X amount of dollars to be able to go over to get this and this and this. The contractor get the monies from the bank. I get the monies from the contractor. The contractor say, I need you to get this, this, and this. I take the money. I go over. These things happen. And nobody want to talk about it. So now you got $10,000. Your wife got $10,000. Your son got $10,000. Your cousin got $10,000. Everybody going over. Nobody declaring more than they need to be able to declare when we do this. When we get to Home Depot, we could pay cash. Things change now because you put that on a credit card, you ain't got no problem. You understand? Yeah. Things change now. You could be able to purchase your thing online, send the money over, and just pick up your stuff. Things have changed now. But one time ago, you used to have that money and walk right across. $30,000.
When you go to buy one or two cars.
$30,000 for a family, and Bahamians know this. $30,000 for a family of 6 on a vacation ain't even a great vacation. Talk to me. That's a little bit of money.
Boy,
that ain't nothing to talk about.
Let me say this, Crown, in closing. Why I said the $5,000 on election day. In 2012, I was. People called me the key man in the election, on election day for Dion Smith, 2012, after the PLB had won. And I was trying to sit down and figure out some things. I told somebody I spend more than $1,200, that's $1,200 on ice a day. And I said, soda and water in ice, and I just ice.
I'm trying to tell you, politicians is playing stupid. These politicians are playing fool, like they don't understand what's happening.
Hold on, but Grant, we ain't talking about the breakfast yet. I get the people bring their breakfast, they want cash money. They ain't talking about.
You can't get the breakfast. You had to give me half last night before I cooked the food.
Lunchtime, yeah. And then you can always say, man, I only getting $1,000 worth of food, $1,000, 1,000 plates, and you have almost 6,000 people coming to vote. You ain't over vote. Everybody coming hungry. Then you have people sitting down under the tent all day. They want some till lunchtime. $5,000 is a blow.
Listen, I can tell you this, Julian, and I appreciate your telephone call.
Not running election for a day, no.
I appreciate your telephone call, Julian. But man, we can talk. But the truth is as we talk about this, the Free National Movement is just looking for an excuse. They're looking for an excuse to be able to paint in your mind that there's a level of corruption that's happening in this space. I have been too close to campaigns to understand, to play oblivious and like I don't know. And I've been in the FNM campaign. You can't tell me nothing. All this foolishness with Michael Pintar running on with is a bunch of garbage. You can't tell me nothing. I've been a part, intimately involved in the Free National Movement campaign. Intimately. Okay? I helped run my mother campaign. You can't tell me nothing. I run my own campaign. You see the same DNA campaign. That same DNA campaign. I run that myself. You know how much that cost me? I didn't even have the money. You know how much begging I had to do to get money? You know how much things? You'll have to stop it. You have to stop it. Okay? I understand these allegations, these speculations that you want to be able to blow up. And if this is your sort of if this is your, I don't know, your ride to glory, if this is that kind of a proverbial baton that you want to be able to carry from one person to another and believe that this is where victory is for you as an organization, then go ahead. Go ahead. I know that you're missing great opportunities to be able to deal with real issues in this country and being able to pair with organizations that can be able to assist, carry that vision, if you had one, along. I know that. I'm watching you. And you're missing great opportunities to do great things. But if this is what you want to do, then go ahead and do what you have to do. I'm not going to fight you. Okay? I don't think anybody's going to take on the position of being able to fight you if this is what you want to do. But I would say to you that you're missing great opportunities to do real work in this country, to talk about $30,000. This can't be about $30,000. This got to be about the perceived corruption associated with it and the alleged association. even the speculation of the persons being able to indicate that the $30,000 was stacked in such a manner that it was viewed as the proceeds of ill-gotten money. I think they say something about drugs, right? I thought it was peculiar. They didn't tell us that they tested the money and identified that there was cocaine in the money. None of these things. They didn't tell us these things. They didn't tell us that we tested these particular persons as a result of these things. We saw that it had narcotics or has been exposed to certain things. They didn't do any of these things. They just give you this theoretical posture and position and saying that this is what it is. The Free National Movement is wrong. They are wrong. The Free National Movement has diminished itself significantly, and it only could be because of Michael Pintard's leadership. There can't be no other reason and explanation for me. The spirit of the leader has filled through the body of the organization, and everyone is taken on the same course of being able to argue a silly point. There are lawyers in here seeking to argue the exact same point that makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And you want to talk about it, and you want to be able to be as decent as possible. And you realize that this is an exhausting venture. It's exhausting. Because, let me tell you something. I told you this before, and I feel like this is the argument with the Free National Movement at this juncture. My wife and I we had an indifference, okay? We got to an impasse. It was an argument. It wasn't supposed to be an argument. It was a logical conversation. In my mind, I was going to approach this with the logic which was available and accessible. It was displayed for all to see in my mind. In my man's carnal mind. In my mind, this was an A, B, C conversation. That's it. This was an A, B, C. And that's it. There was no two ways about that. It was only A, B, C. That's it. So I approached her and I said, baby, A, B, C. She said, A, B, C? Just like a typical, it's just like the retort of a great deal of persons that we would have come in contact with from the black community, black women, over the course of our lifetime. It's nothing different. I continue to say, many of us are married to the same woman. Many of us, we are married to the same woman. This may be the gene that came down from Eve, the gene that we would have identified in Vashti, the gene that in so many women who have this sort of an idea of liberation, the gene of conditioning that exists in these particular spaces. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. It's what a great deal of young people combat with and are confronted with in the time that we live in. Whether you want to talk about it or not, that's just what it is. It's what it is, okay? And so I said, baby, A, B, C. She said, A, B, C? And I said, yes, baby, A, B, C. Well, she said, well, A, B, C, D. I said, no. We're not talking about D. We're only talking about A, B, C. She said, well, A, B, C, D. I said, listen, man, we're not talking about A, B, C, D or any other letters. We're only talking about A, B, C. And so she says, well, I feel like 1, 2, 3. Oh, Jesus. I can't even argue with you no more. We've gone from logic. We've gone from the expansion of the possibility of what logic could be, and then we've slipped right into emotion. Because how could you feel like 1, 2, 3 if the only thing we're talking about is ABC? Hypothetically, I put that before you. The Free National Movement has slipped into all sorts of areas. And this emotional posture and position is not becoming of men of high caliber and stature in our society. It's not becoming. You are tarnishing any political reputation that you have, and the legacy thereof will be tarnished into and marginalized into an emotional posture and position by men of significant caliber, high caliber, and significant recognition by an organization. That's who you'll be viewed as. A bunch of emotional men. Because no one having no conversation about, I feel like 1, 2, 3. I feel like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We're talking about A, B, C. Everyone has said to you, as it relates to A, B, C, we're dealing with this accordingly. The mechanisms associated with being able to identify and root out these perceived corruption and so forth and so on has to go through its channel, and we will deal with it accordingly. The Free National Movement ain't hearing none of that. And they want to be able to keep everyone on edge as it relates to this emotional concept to say that the PLP are thieves. The PLP is corrupt. They have revived this concept. Well, they never let it die. The embers continue to be able to burn over these decades. But now they're fanning the flames of this perceived corruption and being able to call for these things and missing great opportunities here. This will work out. There will be a transparency, and they will, whoever this politician number one is, I'm sure that he or she will be exposed, will be identified. The Prime Minister will have to make a choice because of the social pressure associated with him, on him, as a result of being able to identify these particular persons. When these persons come out, there will be a by-election, if there's any truth to these particular things. Because we live in the land of allegation at this time. All this is allegation. All this is speculation. As Belinda takes on this particular position and talk about these things, she's my very good friend. But they have alleged a great deal of things associated with her in her position also. And so for her to be able to speak on this is bananas to me. This is bananas to me. She's my good friend. They have made significant allegations about who moved what money and who billed what and all these things like that on Belinda. And she's still winning. But that didn't mean that they didn't make the allegations. They've alleged a great deal of things about her. About what's happening in Grand Bahama and what happened with the union in Grand Bahama. There has been significant allegations. She know how the society go. She know when people like you, they will lie for you. When they don't like you, they can lie on you. She also know when the Roots win, they can say they cheating, they rob us. When the Valley Boy win, they say they cheating, they rob us. Everybody hate the judges. She know that. To jump on board the Free National Movement's position to be able to talk about it, because you have a responsibility of being able to identify that the government of the Bahamas is now making consideration about being able to step into a position and empowering themselves from a financial, or endowing themselves financially, and take, yes, row but that, and identify those things and give the contrast like you've done. But to be able to jump on this bandwagon and tag that to a conversation, is there an objective? Is there an agenda? I can't say that. I know Belinda. I know Belinda. Not one time ever. I don't know about anybody else. I sit in a strategic position in this country. This telephone normally is supposed to work two ways. It does. But for the most part, information comes to this phone. And I could safely say, if 5 people say something along the same lines, that this no longer exists in the ethos or in the clouds, there may be at least a translucent meat that's attaching to its bones. But not one time ever have I ever taken on to be able to say anything about anyone that come to this phone. Even if I give you a whisper of it, I will have to say alleged. Because I know the society. I know the people that live here. And if they don't like you, they can cuss you. I don't know why anybody in this society with any level of sense would pick up where the F&M drop off unless you have an agenda. This is foolish what the Free National Movement is doing. Now, I don't want to say stupid because it don't sound right. It's harsh. It's unparliamentary language. And I don't think it's conducive for IRCA either. But this is a silly posture that the Free National Movement has taken. And the entire organization has drunk the Kool-Aid of Mr. Jones. From Jonestown. You are drinking damnation politically. You are swallowing the damnation politically. And you see this is right. You see this is right, and this is what you want to do. You have a political life to be had. All these fellas you're listening to are politically dead. They are has-beens. They have done their part. They have done their position. You need to think your way out of these things and be creative enough to understand that vision is what's going to attract people to you and create opportunities for people to do that. You are beating a dead horse. At least Leonardo DiCaprio cut the horse open and live in it in one night and eat from it. All you're doing is beating it in the dead of winter. You are going to die as you beat this horse in the middle of winter. Sir, at least cut the horse open and live in it for a little while. You're making no sense to me. You're making no sense to me. You're repeating foolishness. You have run campaigns. You know exactly what it takes for campaigns. You had your person being able to ensure that they take care of these particular things, all the responsibilities associated with ensuring that you pay the people for the food. You got to pay the people for the tent. You got to pay the people for the cars. There's no campaign finance reform. There's no indication of who the person was who's getting that. There's nothing. There's this allegation that you want to be able to perpetuate from 1987. It is stupid. Foolish. And I can't believe you all grown men following behind this foolishness. Grown men. You know people was paying for cars. You had people traveling from one island to another. You had people coming from the States. You had people all. You know what campaigns cost in this country. You know. Hey, I will come back and vote for you. Every vote count. You know every vote count. If you had the money, you would do what you have to do. You got to call your people from the States. Are you registered to vote? Are you identified in these particular positions? What constituency you live in? Okay, what polling division? Oh, yes, you are there. All right, so when you want to come down, okay, listen, you ain't asking them if you're voting for you. You're doing that because they call you. Because they can easily call your opponent. And if they call the opponent, he bringing them down, they voting for him. What you telling me? You think I don't know what's going on? You think we don't know what's going on? Every one of us understand that this is the nature of politics. And unless and until we get campaign finance reform, unless and until we get Freedom of Information Act, this is the tradition and the culture of politics. And if the PLP is condemned as corrupt as a result of being able to do that, so is the FNM. Because this is what you do. And $30,000 has never been no form of money for no politicians nowhere. I spent more than $30,000 for 338 votes. And I didn't have none of that money. And I so stupid, I should have saved some of that, put that somewhere. Jesus. Because my wife cussed me. You got to be out. Beep, beep, beep. That time I swear, I on a fast, I eat for 30 days. I said, Jesus, this must even be it. Politicians got tunnel vision. We can't see nothing when it comes to this thing. And every one of us, when we're in this kind of a position, believe that we can win. We believe that. You can't tell me nothing. Even Minnis didn't want to hear from the politician, didn't want to hear from the media person and say, well, if you don't win, he said, hold on, I don't want to hear from you. You sound like you're being negative. Come from me right now. Hold on, I don't want to hear from you. You sound like you're trying to be negative. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from you. You all following behind the FNM. FNM need to drop their stupidness. Bunch of foolishness you're doing. Potential, the next dispensation, the next era of leadership following the same foolishness. You already then contaminating the potential of what your era and dispensation could mean and the impact that could make to a generation. The impact that your representation as leadership can make to a body of young people who are looking for a path, who is looking for a voice. You're following behind foolishness. You're contaminating the potential that you're called to. You all need to stop being silly. Stop it. You all are too grown, too matured to continue this course. This is foolish to me. This is foolish to me. You know what it takes to campaign in this country, one. Okay? If the girl who was sitting on the side there and say, child, if you're sitting there, if she had that money and a politician name on it, what would y'all say? What would be the response in that instance? What would you say? They went over to vote. They didn't pay to get over there. Somebody had to pay for that plane. Oh, drugs money pay for that plane. Wow, this is sick. My mother had to pay for people to come to 8 Mile Rock to vote. No drug people give her nothing. I know nobody do no drugs give her. I was listen to me. Y'all don't know. Y'all ain't gonna get no. I ain't gonna tell you nothing. You know. Me and my mother was hand in hand, side by side. I didn't tell you stories about when people come put money in her hand and she says no. When old people come and put $500 in her hand, she said no. I don't want nothing from you. I don't want nothing from you. And they fight her and say, you ain't gonna stop my blessing. You seem to not understand the nature of politics in this country. You've already been conditioned with a mindset that this could be a mosaic, this could be a liberation, this could be that sort of an avenue that really be able to empower people. There's an opportunity that exists here. There is no idea that you're purchasing a politician. No, at no point when I was riding with my mother during this entire campaign thing. Listen, we build stage, we break stage down, we ride through the constituencies. We work our guts out for our mother. We work our guts out for our mommy. Our guts out. And if somebody had her name on the bag and was bringing something from someplace else, you going to be able to affiliate drugs with her? No, man. These people get mandates and responsibility. Who paying for these people SD when they riding up and down that have to go from polling division number 1 to number 14? Who paying for the gas to do these things? During that time, she had to pay for phone cards. People need to communicate from one person to another. We ain't had enough walkie-talkie. Whatever walkie-talkie we had, if it was only 8, somebody had to charge them up. We had to pay for them. We had to rent them. Who paying for these things? Who paying for these things? The people need to eat. They out here from 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:30. Some people sleep under the tent. So nobody could be able to do what Bradley and Rick Fox had to do, fighting for tent space and location. So you sleep under that. You all don't know nothing but campaign in this country. All you do is go in the box and put your X. You don't know what it takes to campaign in this country. You don't know. You don't know these rebellious people who want to drink Guinness, hot Guinness all night and look for something to smoke and say, listen, bro, we don't do nothing with that, eh? We don't participate in those things, and we don't want you. We ain't paying for no drugs. We ain't into that. Now, if you want something to drink, go here and get something to drink. If you want something to eat, go here and get something to eat. We don't have to pay the people bulk. How you think I could run a campaign the way that I ran a campaign? How you could think I know how to solicit for money? How you think I know who to reach and maybe get money? Because why? I didn't do this with my mother. When I come back from Nassau with over $15,000 and I break up the money and I give it to Osmond Johnson, I give it to, what's his name, who was in Marco City? I give it to, oh Jesus, my good friend. I forget, right? I give it to Bridgewater. I give it to Roll. I give it to Johnson. I give it to, I break up the money and make sure, because we was broke. We was broke. When I had to go give Cheese $1,500, $1,200 just because he print them big sign out for me that said DNA Howard Grant with my picture on it, I had to pay for that. The DNA didn't send that to me. I had to pay for that. For me to open up my building and I go on there, I open up the building, I had to pay the man, do all these things, get the place paint up, all these things. I had to pay for that. It cost me over $4,000. I had to pay for that. I didn't know how my children was eating. I take my money and I put it there. The money what came to me, I put it there. The money what I had, the little couple dollars I had in the bank, I spent all that, I put it there. $30,000 ain't never been no money in this politics. Never. Not if you won't win. $30,000 is a joke. But you all put a whole corruption on the thing, and then you all got the man, because he's a criminal minded, and the whole country carrying on with the same stupidness and the foolishness that you all fighting and following behind, and all these things that are things to do in this country. You got to figure out all these things. The PLP totally ignoring the Free National Movement and moving forward with the agenda that they have and moving forward with ensuring these particular things happen. At every juncture of the way, the Prime Minister is showing the level of incompetence that's coming from Michael Pintard, indicating that you have a desire. You came to me and sparked the idea of being able to increase and ask for an allowance for your man of business in the House of Assembly. Now, all of a sudden, when I say, let's expand it length and breadth, you can call and say, well, you know, people are hurting. What are you doing, man? What's going on with this inconsistency in your head? What's going on? You're fighting for a position. The only reason you stay in there is because you need the money yourself. This don't even make sense. You're not even making sense to me. The only reason you stay on as leader of the Free National Movement is because you need the money. You have no other reason to stay. You've already lost 3 times. You have nothing to offer. You ain't got no vision. You stay there. You need the money. But when it's come time for other people to get the money, you have a problem. I don't understand what's going on. You need the money. You need your member of parliament money. You need the $28,000, and you need the leader of the opposition position. You need the money. You don't thief. Ain't nobody giving you nothing. You need the money to take care of what you have to take care of. Unless, if you didn't need the money, you would have done the honorable thing, just like Hubert Ingram, just like Hubert Minnis, and say, I don't need your things, and I could go. But you need the money. Hubert Minnis could tell you, I'm fine, you know. I'm good. I'm fine. Hubert Minnis could sit down and have fried fish with his wife and smile and go cook this and eat his corned beef and white rice and be able to joke up and laugh up and dance up and so forth and so on, and he ain't miss a beat. He living. He traveling. He loving. He smiling. You got to endure the whispers of persons to talk about your ability or lack thereof. You got to try to imagine that every time you walk in the room and 2 people having a conversation and they bust out laughing, you have to fight yourself to say they ain't talking about you. You have to beat yourself up inside to say, no man, Mike, they can't be talking about me. Because you know that there is so much more that could have been done. There was great expectation on you and you did not meet those particular marks. But you have to endure that. You have to grin and bear and push through it because you need the money. You need the money. I don't understand what you're doing. Perpetuating and expanding on a conversation about $30,000 without understanding. Like, I just don't understand. What are you guys doing, man? What is the idea that you're doing here? What are you doing? Got to stop this, man. And Bahamian people who don't know politics would be following right behind you like a bunch of idiots, because you are the proverbial Pied Pipers, and you're leading these particular people down with a rhythm and an idea of corruption. And though there may be something untoward when it comes to this man, the United States of America has an agenda when it comes to this gentleman. Why would you perpetuate the same idea without being able to have all the facts? Why would you? Why would you diminish the position of the country by being able to support an agenda in Her Majesty's royal opposition without being able to understand the facts? you do understand one thing, what politics is. You do understand that there's no conspiracy theory associated with whether or not you could take $30,000 from Abaco to Grand Bahama. There's nothing. There's this man within the confines of our country. We're not talking about whether or not he's been drifted out. This man within the confines of our country did absolutely nothing wrong. No matter the speculation, no matter the history associated with him, he did absolutely nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. In fact, when he was found with 100% Bahamian currency. An acknowledgement that was made in the papers. And the only thing that they could diminish about the idea and the viewing of the currency and say that it was stacked in accordance to what we've identified in past experiences with the way that fellas who get their money by ill-gotten means from drugs and other things is stacked. That means possibly rubber band around this one, rubber band around that one, rubber band around whatever. But the man is a drug dealer. He used to be a drug dealer. That's how he saved his money. That's how he count his money. When I count my money, I count with my left hand. Nobody understand that. I right-handed. When I count my money, I count left. I don't know how to do it no other way. I don't know how to. When you give me money, if you give me a stack of money, because I was working in a hotel, right? So if I made $45,000 a day, if I made $30,000 a day, if I made $15,000 a day, and I have to count my money quick, I can count with my left hand. And all the girls said, "Oh, Howard, how you counted that?" I don't know. This is the only way I know how to count. The drug dealing man who used to sell drugs and do drugs or whatever he used to do, from the allegations that's been levied against him, he know how to save his money like a criminal. How to stack his money like criminals. That's how he's comfortable. You don't not be a criminal no more. Huh? You don't not all the things that you've been conditioned to be able to do while you were in the particular position. All of a sudden you go to jail and come back, hey, listen, wait, it's important that we don't stack our money like that. We don't want to be viewed as a criminal. That doesn't happen. This is illogical. This is an emotional position that the Free National Movement has taken and supported. Emotion. You have to do better than this. You've got to do better than this. The next generation of leadership, whether that be Andre Rollins, whether that be Arinthia Komalafe, whether that be Rick Fox, Rick Fox, whether that be Jay Leo, whether that be Frazette, whether that be Lincoln, all of you have the responsibility of being able to step back and breathe. Step back and breathe. You can no longer follow Michael's position as it relates to being able to talk and amplify the perceived corruption coming out of the Progressive Liberal Party. This is what caused you to lose in 1987. You are returning. This is a horrible thing that you're visiting the past. You need to understand, take a panoramic view, do an introspection, and understand where the country is right now. I told you, in 1992, Dwayne Sands would have been absolutely superb in his position of leadership. He would have been there with Dion Folks. He would have been there with Carl Bethel. He would have been there with Earl DeVoe. He would have been there between the 90s. He would have been there with men and women that could be able to superbly serve in such a manner that they were stoic men and women, that they had significant elk, that they've been identified in the society, that they were respected. He would have been excellent at that time. This age and era, he is like cheese, doodle, and wine. That thing don't mix. It just don't mix. You have to recognize the era that you're in. ERA, the era that you're in, not error, ERROR, the era that you're in, and understand the responsibility that you have to the people that live in this time. Young people don't care, but nothing would happen yesterday. Nobody care about that. They don't even be respectful to you. I just have Bishop Walter Hantel start to tell me all these things, but what young people do and all these. And I say, but what about the church? The church, you never teach these or nothing? He said, well, how does get an observation? You're so concerned about the tradition and what people should do without understanding nobody care about none of this. How do you now get in where you fit in? You will lose out if you don't understand and prepare yourself for the leadership that exists in you for such a time as this. Okay? Vashti is gone, kicked out of the kingdom, gone forever. Esther, you was born to serve for such a time as this. You cannot seek to serve in the same principles and capacity that Vashti just get kicked out for. It is dumb. You cannot seek to go and continue the exact same thing that people get kicked out for. You're bringing it right. You are going to get fired and never live out the purpose that you were called to live out in this time and in this era. Stop being silly. Stop it. You all are grown men and women. You can't see this. Cheese doodle and wine do not go. Find a listen to me. You know what's go with cheese doodle? Purple soda. Hot Cheetos and purple soda. That's what they're drinking the ghetto. They like that. When you get your little your sausage, when you cut up your little sausage, right? The little salty. Thank you, Jesus. The salty, right? When you get your salty, you're not putting pepper and salt on that, which is put on fish. You go looking for Louisiana to put the thing on there. Come talk to me. You pair certain things together. You'll have to understand that this is a pairing that doesn't match. Michael Pintard has already shown us that he's not the leader for this time and era. He is a proverbial wine that existed in a different time. Etched in a different time. You need to find your Fanta soda and cheese doodle if that's the era that we're in. Or if you're going to be identified as wine, you need to be able to get your charcuterie board that you could be able to sit and enjoy yourself and have a nice glass of wine, because these things pair and they go well together. The F&M is off course. The F&M is imbalanced. The F&M is out of alignment with society, and they need to be able to get themselves back into a proper position. It's 2:00. Guys, thank you so much for being able to tune in with us. That was the show today. Thank you so very kindly for being able to jam with us. It's a Wednesday. We're going to see you guys tomorrow, God spare our lives, right here only on 89.5, the FM Foundation Radio, and this is The Foundation with Howard Grant. Guys, have a beautiful day. We're going to see you tomorrow. God spare.
The best talk show in the Bahamas. The Foundation with Howard Grant. Only on 89.5 FM Foundation Radio.
Sell All Electric has all your electronic needs. If you don't believe me, pass by and take a look at our vast inventory.
We are located in the Marshalls Plaza, Carmichael Road. Our store hours are 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Give us a call at 242-361-7265 or email themarshallsgroupltd8@gmail.com. Or you can visit Games and More in the Southwest Plaza, Carmichael Road. Sell all. Come on in and take a look.
Looking for electrical supplies? You can find all your electrical needs at SHS